I realized after making the 5 C's of survival video that many of you may not actually have the skills necessary to use those tools, those 5 things that you'll have to go watch the video for. And so what I did was I actually built a list of things that I wanted to tell you about that I think that you should know how to use. By the way, don't wreck my car now. There's the kit. Yeah, it's all put together just like I told you it would be. And yeah, it turns out that's not steel. That's aluminum. Before anybody starts talking to me about cooking in aluminum, I'll remind you of the over 5,000 hikers that hike the Appalachian Trail yearly that cook in aluminum. Yes, they use titanium too. That's the expensive ones. But lots of them do aluminum, so shut up. Anyway, the number one thing related to that is fire. You should have the ability to be able to make fire in any environment. Yes, you can make fire in the rain if you know what you're doing. But the reality is that it's not an easy skill unless you own a Bic lighter. And that's cool too, but what if you don't have a Bic lighter? What I would ask you to do is to think about this in a systematic way. Like, if I don't have a lighter, what am I going to use? Well, I could go with flint and steel if I had that, if I could acquire that, or if I had that already in my preps. If that didn't work, I could use a ferro rod. If I had already trained and had the skills to use that. See how incrementally, the harder it is to start fire, the more skills you have. And apologize for the noise. I'm actually on a bridge right now, so I'm talking kind of loud. And the, obviously the next step up is making fire with a couple of sticks, hardwood, softwood. One of the things that they teach you when you go to the survival courses in the military is how to make fire with wood, with sticks. During the course, they show you how to do it, they do it, and then they give you the tools and say do it yourself. So you start, and right about the time you start getting the first blisters on your hands, they reach into their pocket, they grab a Bic lighter, and they hold it up, and they say that you can have this as soon as you can make fire with that. At that moment in your life, you're going to realize you don't know squat about making fire. So, I recommend that you learn those skills. Start with simple stuff. Google 9-volt battery, search in YouTube. 9-volt battery, steel wool. See what happens. It's amazing. Also, stop throwing away your resources. You make lint once a week when you do your laundry. Make sure it's dried out when it comes out of the dryer, because sometimes it comes out moist. Make sure it's dried out. Throw that sucker in a sandwich Ziploc bag, roll it up, stick it in your kit, and you know what? You just have instant fire starter. All you need is a good spark, or hell, it can even help you with your Bic. Learn to build fire. Next, build a shelter from your environment. You have to learn to build your shelter from your environment. The first one I ever built, yes, it was in the military. They let us go. They said, go build shelter, but stay in this little circle of 2 miles. So me and my battle buddy went, and we found this tree that was laying sideways, kind of like that. So we're like, this is perfect. We're going to make a lean-to. And that's what we did. We went and found a buttload of different sticks and broken limbs, and we stacked them up on the side. And then we tore moss off the side of the tree. Yeah, okay, tree huggers, cry someplace else. And we stuffed those in the cracks, and then we went and found all the debris we could find. We just hand raked every bit of pine needle, of leaves that we could find, and threw it on top of that to create another layer of insulation. And although we were allowed to use our sleeping bags, I guarantee you it was about 20 times warmer for us that night than it would have been if we were just sleeping out in our sleeping bags and pivy sacks. Learn to build from your environment. No, you don't have to go into the woods and dig all this stuff up and make your own prepper video about how I lived in the woods with sticks. Learn how to use your environment. You can make a pretty simple lean-to if you can find a giant piece of cardboard and lean it up against the side of a wall and get underneath it. It will protect you from the elements. If you can find a chunk of metal or a big piece of plywood. You can lean it up against the side of a wall and make a lean-to. So learn to make shelter from your environment. Next thing is natural land navigation. Learn how to use a map, and then learn how to use a compass. They go together. Learn where the things you are. You're like, well, where do I get a map from? Go on usgs.gov, I think, or .com. You can actually find a map for your area with your house dead smack in the middle of it. You can push it around on the old interwebs until you get the exact map that you want, and then give them 12 to 30 bucks and they will print you out a map. Hell, they might even laminate it for you. When you get that map, or hell, if you just get the map that you found at the gas station, because those still exist, go ahead and make sure that you actually do what they call a map reconnaissance or a map survey, where you find out where everything is. There's things on those maps that you wouldn't even know that it's there. But if you had a map and you did the research, you would know. Learn how to navigate. Learn how to use a map and compass. Woo! Sorry about that. Kind of came up quick on that stoplight. Next thing is acquire food. Acquire food could be anything. Learning how to hunt, learning how to fish, learning how to steal from the back of a truck. Learn how to acquire food. When your food runs out, where are you going to get your food from? It's a simple question. Where are you going to get your food from? Have a plan. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is, where are we at here? Make water safe to drink. Well, you know, you can live, believe it or not, people can live for anywhere from 3 weeks to a month without food. But you can't live more than 3 days, supposedly. I've actually seen people go to 4. But anyway, without water. You need to make sure that you know how to filter water. Maybe it's a Berkey. Maybe it's a Sawyer. Stay away from the minis. Those are pieces of junk. Maybe it's some kind of gravity-fed thing. Maybe it's something I recommended to you in the past that's made in China, sold on Amazon, but still will filter the bad stuff out of water for 1,000 or 100,000 gallons. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just an old-fashioned caveman, the old 3-layer pyramid. You build it with sticks, you know, rocks and leaves, then gravel, then sand, then cloth, or cloth on the top or in the middle, and then drip, drip, drip. It's clean. It's been filtered water. It's not purified water. It's not antibacterial, microbial, whatever it may be, water, but it is water that you could drink. And if you took it from a clean source, then yeah, you're all set. Learn how to do that. Another thing you can learn to do is tracking. You know, you really need to be able to find those animals. In the military, they teach you something called man tracking. It's how you can actually track people. It's really easy because the basic science is applied and taken from tracking other animals. Yeah, kind of logical, right? Learn how to do that. Learn how to look for sign, learn how to find sign, learn how to read sign. Watch a YouTube video, read a book. There's lots of information out there. Get out there and try and apply it. This directly relates to snaring. Snaring is my weakest thing. I know how to make them. I've used them in the past. This is not rocket science, but it's not something we do every day. So yeah, my snaring skills are subpar right now. I really need to get out and, I don't know, get a squirrel. Do it. Right after that, you're going to need to know how to prepare an animal to eat. Because you know what? My dad always taught me, if you kill it, you don't let any of it go to waste. You eat it. Believe it or not, when I was 16, I shot an owl. My dad wasn't happy. He made me eat it. It was probably the most disgusting thing I ever ate in my life. I didn't have any of those skills. He just showed me how to do it all. Learn how to prepare an animal no matter what it is. Learn knots. Learn how to tie knots. Just pick 5 out of a book. Google the 5 most commonly used knots. Learn how to tie those knots. Get yourself a little piece of paracord, about 2 or 3 feet long. Start practicing during the commercials or whatever the hell the kids are doing these days. Learn how to tie a knot. Big one. first aid. At the minimum, learn basic first aid. Red Cross, OSHA, your local church. Somebody is teaching basic first aid for little to no money. Second, learn CPR. Someone's teaching it. Get certified. Learn CPR. Because if this turns into an SHTF situation, which God hope it never does, the hospitals will only be usable for so long, and 911 will definitely stop coming. They have families too. On a side note, I want you to also learn how to do improvised cooking. Now, when I say improvised cooking, I mean learning how to cook on a fire. And you're saying, man, it's easy to cook on a fire. You make the fire, you stick the pot on there, you start cooking. Yeah, you can do all those three things. That, fire, plus foods, pot, pan, equals fucked up food. Learn how to improvise, do improvised cooking. Learn how to cook on coals. Learn what dirties a pot, what doesn't dirty a pot. Learn the appropriate woods to use. If you can't, oh well. I guess you'll be cleaning pine sap off your pot or not caring about it. I don't really care about it. Learn how to do those things. Also, another little side note, solar ovens. You can build them. There's 100 YouTube videos on how to build a solar oven. I've done it before. It's freaking awesome. You put the roast on at 7 in the morning when you wake up. You put it in the put your potatoes in the bottom of it. You put the top on it. You put it in the solar oven. You point it at the sun. And about once every hour, maybe 2 hours if you're busy, you just turn it so it's still facing the sun. 400 to 500 degrees inside of a cardboard box with a window on it. It does work. The food is delicious. Learn how to do it. It's cheap. It's efficient. Hell, it doesn't cost you anything once you have the damn thing made. Do it. And one more near and dear to my heart. Learning to move silently. In a bad situation. And it's just you, because you can teach. This is a trainable skill, but it's also a skill that you have to learn yourself. You have to do it with your body. No one can do it for you. It's like going to the gym. No one can do it for you. Learning to move as quietly as possible, as stealthily, as most undetectable as possible, or least detectable. If you think this is stupid, my challenge to you is simple. Put your bug out bag on, walk into the woods right now, especially during this season, and just walk and see if you're as good as you think you are. When you're done with that, go back, hit the YouTubes, read some books, do some practicing. There's ways to walk, there are places to step. It's very commonsensical. Once you've done it a couple of times, it becomes second nature to you. Movement in the woods. All right, so I'm driving way too fast and the traffic's starting to build, so I'm going to cut it for right now. Go ahead, and if you got any questions, comments down below. And if you like the video, hit that like button. And then if you like what I'm doing, do me a favor. It helps the channel. It helps build the algorithm so that the bad guys can't tell the good guys what to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then that little bell's going to pop up. Make sure you hit the one that's got the little thingies on the side that tells you for all notifications. That way you'll get notified whenever I make another damn video. All right. Till now, gotta go. Later, and stay safe.